Hey guys, welcome to another edition of I guess we're calling it retro gaming. I don't know. We really haven't come up with a name for it yet, so we'll just say that. But joining me as always, we've got my co-host here. We've got Mr. Glenn Pimento, fresh out of the
How's it going,
hospital.
everyone? Yes. So if I pass out, fall over, don't call 911. They'll hear me upstairs. They'll get me an ambulance. This is what happens when you get old. And it's just, what are you going to do?
Well, I'm glad you were able to join here. We were trying to figure out what day we were going to do the show, and I know last week you got hung up with some stuff. I got busy last week, but we want to continue doing this show and keep the show going. But there's some cool stuff to talk about today. Um, for those that don't know, AtGames brought out a 3.0.4 update, right? That brings some really cool new features that we're going to talk about for the Legends
Yep.
Arcade. Since the last show, I actually got a Legends Ultimate cabinet sitting here in the arcade, and there's been some talk about a new pinball machine that's virtual.
Y- Yeah, this is what happens. I can't go to the hospital. I can't be out of anything for a day. I come out and the groups are blowing up. There's a new company that came out of nowhere, as far as I could tell, called Toy Circus. And they're coming out with what we kind of thought would have been an arcade one-up type of thing because it's like a three-quarter sized virtual pinball machine. Not a physical pinball machine, but virtual. What that means is there is actually an LCD panel for the playfield, so you can have multiple different types of games on there. And P Dubs right now he's in our distro chat right now. They started the official Facebook group for this machine, and I think that's something we're going to probably talk quite a bit about here. I'm excited about it. I've been working on a virtual pinball machine for a long time. I mean, if anyone has ever touched this, virtual pin MAME is kind of a hellish thing to set up. It is not an easy thing at all. But when you get it working, it's really really nice. And we actually were talking about this on our premiere episode. We'll kind of talk about what something that Arcade One Up may come out with, or something along those lines. And I'm like, it's really not going to be super easy to come out with something in that kind of price range between the LCD panels and so forth. And I have no problem eating crow at all because this company is now coming out with this, and it looks like it's a 24-inch LCD screen and a solid scoreboard in the back. It does have digital displays in the background. But the first machine I saw was Haunted House and Black Hole, which are two of my favorite classic machines. And this particular one, as far as I could tell, has about 15 different virtual pinball machines on it. Buddy of mine, Mad Little Pixels, actually already did a video, and P Dubs has actually already got a video out there as well on it. I'm still trying to recover from my my ailment, so I haven't got a chance to do anything yet. But from what I've seen so far, you do have a physical plunger on there, which is
Mhm.
kind of great. You don't want to have a button; you want to actually pull something back and have it go.
That's what my wife
So
says the
that's kind
best
of nice.
part. She said this is the best
It
part, being
is.
able to
It
pull the
is.
back.
The next thing people always worry about is, in the old machines, you used to be able to bang it around, get the ball, knock it around a little bit on the scoreboard or the play field, and then eventually put sensors in there, mercury switches. So if you hit it too hard, it would tilt the machine and you lose your ball. But if you look on the machine below your left and right flippers, there's actually a nudge. Your left and right hit the table, and on the front there's also a front nudge. So that's kind of cool. And actually, it's a nice looking little unit. It looks like it's got steel or metal legs, and the build time is about 15 to 20 minutes. So it's probably three separate pieces: your main LCD panel, your back display panel, your scoreboard, and your legs. And of course, this thing's only been advertised for probably 2 days, so there's not a lot of information on that. But I do know that in the official Facebook group that was started, again, P Dubs can go into this a little bit more in the distro chat there, is that the company itself is also engaged. And that's kind of like what I've been trying to do. And now with Tech Buzz, what we're really trying to do is get these companies engaged with the community. Because if you want your product to succeed, we're the ones who have to buy it. And if we're going to buy it, we want certain things. And hopefully the feedback between all these different areas, Facebook, us, and the companies, we can mold a nice little product. Again, for $399, I mean, that's a pretty sweet spot because most virtual pinball machines, honestly, start at about $2,000.
Hmm.
Now, I'm not going to put this up against an actual virtual pinball machine like I wouldn't put an arcade one up or an AtGames machine against a true arcade machine.
Yeah.
You got to take it for what it's there for. Now, in the advertisement, they're showing this pinball machine with little kids, probably, 10, 12-year-old kids, but their grandparents are there too. And I'm still into that group. I have no problem it being a kid's toy if it's nice enough or if it's moddable, which
Well,
is something that
I
might
mean,
come down the pike as well.
Glenn, let's face it though, the arcade one-ups are essentially, for all intents and purposes, they're a toy. They're not like actual arcades. I mean, that's the whole reason people are buying them. They don't want the full size maintenance that comes with it. They don't want these
Right,
machines because they don't have the room for them. And
right.
honestly, a pinball machine, I don't have the room for a full size pinball. Would I like one? Oh, absolutely, just like everybody else. But $3.99, it falls right into that price point of like the arcade one ups, the Legends
Right, it's a good
Ultimate.
sweet spot.
It
Yep,
really is. I think it's going to be good. And from the pictures, I don't know if you were seeing that as I was posting it here, but in the ToyShock digital pinball fan page, I'm going to say that so that way you guys can find it. They show, Glenn, they show a bunch of different arcades
yep.
that they're going to be coming with um,
I want them
layouts of the
all.
machines. So there's a different. I don't know if it's going to be like that at launch because I know you can pre-order them right now on Walmart.com.
Right,
Uh,
right.
Pre-order for the December 1st, shipping on the 6th. So there's a bunch of great looking
Right, and they're
ones.
they're they're nice looking machines. The only thing that catches my eye, and it's caught a lot of other people's eye, is the bezel around that playfield there.
Yeah,
Um, Probably first thing I would do is get that black spray painted or just put some black just to reduce it. It's too large. It's just too noticeable around that
yeah,
top. You know, they put some graphics on it.
yeah.
Maybe arcade graphics or something along those lines can make a decal to go over it. It's just too thick. Again, we're talking about a 399 pinball machine
But
that would cost a lot more.
but you like you said, I agree with you. Let's paint it black, throw graphics on it. But I think I know why they did that. Again, I'm just we haven't had any hands on with it, and nobody from the company has said this is why we did it. But Glenn, think
Little
about it.
kids' hands getting around that. Yep,
Well, you think about it when you have people over. If you smoke or if you drink, where do you think they want to put that?
on their kid's head. That's where you have them.
No, but I mean,
Come
in
on.
all seriousness, I think that's
Not on the nice equipment. No, not in the game. The
no, but
child.
that's
They're
what
putting
people
on the
do. I've
child.
seen people with arcade one-ups setting their drinks right on top of the covers,
Plexiglass.
right
Yep.
on the plexiglass, and that's so I'd encourage people to get the plexiglass. But I think that may again, I'm surmising, maybe why they did that. But I agree, it needs to be black, not
Right.
not
So I'm
silver.
I'm dying to see what the monitor because another thing I'm thinking about already is there is obviously some leeway on that bezel over there. So a larger monitor would probably be one of the first mods that would happen within that area that I would think of if it's an HDMI or maybe even if ETA Prime gets his hands on one to find out what kind of display it is that we can get a module to put a secondary screen in there. So I'm already starting to think about the mod potential. But again, even like the arcade one-ups or the AtGames, that's half the fun. I mean, buying them stock is great,
Yeah,
but adding your own personal touches to it makes it that much nicer. And
yeah,
again, we haven't heard sound effects from this machine yet, the speaker quality. We don't know anything, but it's exciting because it's something we've been asking for a number of years,
yep,
and kind of thought if it wasn't going to be our arcade one up, it was going to be kind of a hard thing to come about. Let's see. I mean, December is not that far off. They're kind of coming in under the
hmm
radar, and bam, could be shipping December 1st. This could be something really, really nice and take off,
yeah.
or it could be something that's totally the other side of the coin, where people are going to get it. Go, oh my God, this thing is no good at all. And thankfully, it's with Walmart. You'll be able to send it back, but time will tell. Less than a month.
Yeah, and P Dub says in the chat here, he says that almost 300 members are ready in less than a day. So it just shows the demand, Glenn, of what that people want pinball. I mentioned it in one of the arcade one up groups, and I said, it would be really cool if we could do something like this at around that price point. And the naysayers came out. They're like, no, 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 you can't do it. And
Yeah,
and I get
I
it
was one of them.
for the
I was one
quality.
of them.
For the quality, I get it. Like Ralph, I think on one of his videos, and I could be wrong. If Ralph's watching this in rerun, you could classify it or clarify it in the chat. But I believe he spent probably close to $2,000 on the build that he was
Right,
doing, and
right.
that was full size, correct?
Yeah, and not only that, a buddy of mine, Dwayne Ringo, who has the MAME Arcade and More Facebook group, he built a 7-inch, and I have one here. I can go grab it in a little bit. But I have a 7-inch virtual pinball machine, and that was a pain to build. I mean, that little thing alone cost a couple $100 for the screen. The computer needed to run it. the charging circuits, the woodworking. I honestly think just the parts alone was probably close to $200 just in the parts, and then labor on top of that. So when you're looking at something like a 399 for something already built
Yeah.
to perfection, that's not a bad deal. And I'm still betting on a Black Friday sale on this thing. I don't know, totally guessing. But that's something I would see possibly coming out even $20 off, something along those lines. But it's really catching my attention, and I think as more people hear about this, I think that Facebook group is going to go through the roof with people because virtual pinball machine groups are popular.
Yes. And I want to put this out there. If the company happens to watch this, get in touch with Glenn and I with some specs that we could talk about
Absolutely.
on this show, so we kind of know what. Again, we're guessing, we're reading materials, we're looking at materials that you guys have provided publicly, but we'd really like to have that spec sheet of what we can expect with this machine. In terms of what are all the buttons that are there, like how many games are going to be on each console. I know you said that you think it's like 20 of them.
I think it was like 15, but
Yeah, I've
the
seen
big
some.
thing is with these pinball machines is the play mechanics,
Mhm.
the way the ball that's why they usually require very powerful machines. So my guess is these are recreations almost like Super Impulse. They took the board and programmed it specifically to their hardware, but the ball mechanics, people are going to pick that apart. I mean, that's one of the
Yeah,
things that's pinball, how that ball goes. I know it's designed for little kids, but as adults gonna be buying it too, I'm telling you it's gonna happen. How that ball handles and how the machine handles the mechanics is gonna be very important.
exactly. No, we've got some folks on YouTube. Sorry, I was answering them. Some folks on YouTube are asking, like, is this pre-recorded? It says it's pre-recorded. No, I don't know why YouTube's telling you it's pre-recorded. It's not pre-recorded. We're live. We're here right now with this episode too. You can see the date there. We just wanted to let you know we are live and we're watching YouTube. We're watching Facebook. We're watching Discord chat. So we're watch. I don't have Twitch pulled up. So if you're on Twitch, you're kind of out of luck. You got to go to one of the other chats. So uh,
Discord would be the best way to go.
yeah, you guys are there. So we're talking right now about the new company, and I did play the video earlier on in the show here, but I'll pull it up again, and that you guys can go to this website if you really want to see. They don't have a lot of information on it, but the website is toyshock.com. And Luke is saying you're just partially live. That's what he says.
Well, I
So
am still recovering.
yeah. So they don't really I was looking around the website. They don't really have a lot of information. They just have this video here. And like you said, their official Facebook page. Now I want to say the Facebook page of the company. Only like 2 days ago when I first found it and liked it, had like 127 likes on it. Um Now I know somebody else found this as well yesterday, and they created a group which was really cool, and they brought us
Beat me
in.
to the punch. Beat me to the punch. What are
Yeah,
you gonna do?
and so P Dub was all over it, and a couple other folks were all over it, and they jumped in, and so now it's growing. So
Yep, and
I'm
it's official. It's officially sanctioned by the company.
Yes, so it's nice to see without anybody. It's just like word of mouth. The communities were like, yes, we want pinball, we want pinball. So I'm hoping to get my hands on this. I might pre-order it here. We'll see. It's coming. My son just kind of lit up over there. He was just like, really? So so we're gonna hopefully get something like that. But I don't
Well, the
know.
pinball is just something. I mean, I'm 50. I'm not a young guy, and I did start off with pinball machines and like haunted house. I definitely remember going, believe it or not, at a carnival. They had a tent at a carnival and they had pinball machines set up in there, and I played that one and actually had a Space Invaders pinball, and they're fun. I mean, there is actually a skill to playing pinball. It's not just you hit a flipper and that's it. There's actually skill involved with it. So I'm really excited to see how this thing turns out.
Yeah, so some of the guys here in the YouTube chat, Kevin the Human, he says, "Hey guys, got the Legends Ultimate arcade machine after seeing yours and in the other videos. I really like it." So we appreciate that. That's why any of the content creators out there, guys that are doing live shows, videos, all those guys, that's why we do it, to kind of show you guys maybe why you should get it, or maybe why
Yep.
you should just save your money.
And also let people know why we live our lives in our basement. We're not creepy. We're doing this. We're playing our games.
Yes, yes. I'm married with kids, so I have that excuse going for me. So my wife kind of, I said, my son. I said, Daniel and I will play it. She's like, oh, okay. Well, if you guys are gonna play it, go ahead and get it. So I don't really get a lot of argument. So he's over there smiling and laughing. So because he knows. Uh, so, Glenn, I mean, without surmising anymore, there's really nothing we could say until we get our hands on it or we get some more specifications on it.
Right.
But it looks
I think
promising.
it does, and I think again, by the way it's being advertised, you hit it a nail on the head before that this is primarily targeted towards kids. Then there's our big kids that we want these things too. Um, so we have to really see what kind of wood they're using. You know, is it similar to an arcade one up or an AtGames, or is it even thinner? I heard the weight is about 60, 65 pounds. So I'm kind of guessing it's probably gonna be the same type of material in there. And that's also a good weight. I mean,
Yeah.
with the metal legs on there, rubber feet, it shouldn't slide around. Um, the screen from in the video looks like the resolution is pretty good. It's just we have to really see how the sound effects work and how the ball mechanics work. It's always been key with virtual pinball, requiring a very powerful processor to handle all that rendering.
Yeah, absolutely. So it'll be really interesting. I know there's a V Gotchman in the chat room here on YouTube has said, "Hey Glenn, is your trackball out of stock? I can't find it on Amazon anywhere."
Yes, it is currently out of stock. Or here's this whole story. So we have the spinner, which is in stock. We have the Tron stick, which is in stock. The trackball, we're making some changes to it, some modifications to it. My partner is actually flying over from China to the States, so we expect to have that hopefully the next 2 weeks to have them over here. He's going to send me a revised version. This is our version 2 trackball. He hasn't even told me all the changes he's made to it yet, but I do know that we've made some improvements to how the ball spins. I mean, spun pretty well before, but some people still felt it was still a little loud. So we're trying to make some adjustments to it. So I expect it to be before the end of November is over to have the trackball back in stock.
Awesome, awesome. Well, so there you go, guys. You have that information there for you from yeah, because you don't want to be without that spinner. That spinner is great, and the ball. And that was actually how I first found you because I was looking for, like many others, the ball and the spinner were not the greatest on the 12 and one, but I tolerated it. Right, I used
Right.
it.
It worked.
It
It definitely
worked.
did work.
But my son, he was just like on Tempest. He's like, I can't get around it fast enough with the spinner. And I went on YouTube and I was looking for people that were modding it, and I came across that. I'm like, well, shoot, I'm gonna help out a fellow YouTuber. And I watched your video. I'm like, well, that's easy enough to install. So I bought it. I bought both of them. I put it in there, easy peasy. I mean, honestly, it was
It
great.
is, and actually, funny thing that Greg from Greg's Game Room, he's another YouTuber. He actually had the second generation spinner from Arcade One Up. It's their free spinning unit, but he had their 12 in one cabinet, and the spinner that he got was designed for the Asteroid unit. It didn't work. So first he tried modding, he tried cutting the wires and trying to putting it into the 12 in one, and it didn't work. So he actually reached out to me and I'm like, he goes, Glenn, would your 12 in board make this work? I'm like, I'm gonna be honest, Greg, I never got one from them, so I don't know. So he purchased one of my 12 in one boards, and sure enough, the arcade one up modified enhanced spinner had to go through my 12 in one board to actually work in their 12 in one machine. But my understanding is they're about ready to release their trackball slash spinner combination unit.
Hmm.
So once they do that, you purchase that for it. Again, I have no problem with them doing that. I'm not here to make money, and actually, I haven't made any money on any of these products. Any money been made simply gone to make it a new one. And if the company comes up with one that's good, or if the company just reach out and says, Glenn, we're making one, would you mind? I have no problem not making it. These are only coming out because there was a need and I was able to help people out and do it. So if Arcade One Up starts making these and starts improving their machines, whether these are not needed, that's cool. It's all good. But if they do release things where people want enhancements, I'm also here to try and help if I can.
So Joseph Shorts in the Facebook chat also asks. He said, "Will there be an upgrade for the Legends arcade cabinet with your spin ball?"
Actually, truth be told, I've been talking to AtGames, God, for about 6 or 7 months now, and I actually had gotten one of their prototype boards, and I was working on some things, but got to remember, I do work. I'm a single father. I got a family. They take precedence. Got my YouTube channel. I got the Facebook groups, which take a ton of time.
Well,
There's hygiene. You got to shower
you
sometimes for some
sound like
reason.
me. You have to work for a living.
I don't know. I don't understand why. I don't understand why. So the short answer is I've been talked with them for a while. I've been talking through them for quite some time, and I have a very good rapport with them. And I'm working with them. So the long answer to that very short question is yes. We're going to be making a Tron joystick, spinners, steering wheels, Star Wars yoke. All these different devices will be available at some point to the AtGames unit. Now, remember, this thing's only been out for about a month itself, so it's going to take some time because with me, we're not a company. We're just a couple of guys who have contacts in the industry, who work in the industry, making these things. And unfortunately, I lost a week. This weekend or this week, I was off. I was supposed to be working on my Kickstarter video for that Star Wars yoke, but I was hospitalized all week, so that didn't happen. So I'm delayed a little bit on that. So barring issues, yes, things will definitely start coming out for it. The Tron will probably be one of the first things coming out for it because Tron's already on there,
Mhm.
and you definitely want to have that stick with the spinner on there to play it.
That'll be interesting. I know we've kind of talked about the different things with the joystick as well, with that. But let's kind of shift gears a little bit. Let's talk about AtGames here and about the new update that they put out for those that don't know. And I before we get into showing any of that, I've been reading in some of the groups, the forums, Glenn, that people after updating to the 3.0.4 update, some people stated that their add-on thumb drive was not recognizing certain ROMs that had to do with Williams games, and then also some people had issues where their Wi-Fi was not connecting. And my unit's hardwired, so
Right.
I haven't experienced that. I know you said you just got it on today.
I did.
So
Now
what's your take?
the previous build when I installed the last firmware update, that's when my Wi-Fi got wonky. My Wi-Fi was rock steady. The last firmware update, it was dropping in and out. I had to go hardline. But after I upgraded literally about an hour or two ago to the latest firmware, my Wi-Fi got stable again. So that I think that problem's been at least resolved for me. I haven't tried any Williams games yet, so I'll have to find out about that. But I will say that they did add like the loading menu. So when you exit out of an add-on game, instead of it just look
Yep.
like it's froze, it does say loading, and it seems to go quicker. I mean, I was waiting 5 or 6 seconds before. Now it takes maybe two. So I don't know if it's with every ROM, but that seemed better. But my Wi-Fi for sure seems more stable.
Well, that's we can take a look at that right now. Actually, if my son, if you want to go to switch the shot to your to the arcade so we can see your screen and just hit the arcade. Go ahead, hit the arcade. We have double producers here. So my son's going to bring this up here. Yeah, he does a good job. All right, so now we want you to exit out of can you exit out of Pac-Man? Hit the menu. And what we're going to do is yep, quit the game. So it'll pop up here. All right. So what we want you to do is we want you to go down. So that's the add-on menu. So you can see how it has that loading button, Glenn. Go ahead
Yep.
and go into
Yep.
one of the other games, Daniel, that are right there in the add-on. I don't care. Pick one that you want to go into right there and just go into it so we can see. We want to see the loading time. So if you want to click on it, hit the A button. Okay. So it's going into the game here.
And I do like that they added the option for pixel perfect video, stretch, normal, full screen. That's again, not everyone's going to want to do those things, but
Yeah.
I'd rather have the option there and not use it than want to have an option and not have it available.
Oh, I totally agree with that. I think that's wise in that aspect of things. So let's go to this shot so we can actually so
There
we're
we
we're
go.
seeing it. Okay. So go ahead and exit out of that so we can see the loading screen and see how quick it goes. So he's going to exit out. So it gives you the loading and usually by the
Right.
time the screen adjusts it's about 2 to 3 seconds and boom, you're done.
Yeah, that's much improved. I was sometimes 5 or 6 seconds. So they definitely streamlined that. And again, for people on the fence about the Arcane machine, again, it's not perfect. None of these machines are perfect. But if you're looking for a jack of all trades, you want to be able to play with your friends. You have two controls built in. You got a trackball, you got spinners. It's full size. It's got a nice screen in it. They're doing firmware updates on it. You can bring your own games. You can load your own games. There's a couple of emulators that are working right now. I'm really hoping. I'm hoping that the TurboGrafx 16 emulator works because there's some great games on there.
Mm.
It does work. Just the start button doesn't work.
So
So
some people are saying V Gatch and he's saying that there's a new bug that when you exit a add-on game, it will load back up into the game and keep you stuck in a loop. Now I haven't seen that. Now you saw him go into two
yep,
games.
that did happen. I did see that partially once. I was in a game. I was actually in Donkey Kong. I escaped, and when I escaped, it blinked for a second and went right back into Donkey Kong. But when I escaped again, I was out. I didn't get stuck in a loop, but it did hop in. I thought maybe I hit the button by accident, but I
Okay.
didn't think I did. By him saying that now, I kind of agree that I
Okay.
did see that happen, but it didn't loop me.
Fortunately, I haven't seen that yet. And you saw he just left Pac-Man and Marble Madness, and we didn't have that problem. So one of the other things that they at games added to this was the ability for children that you could lock them out of certain areas of certain types of games. So what I'm going to have you do, Daniel, I'm going to have you go up to the settings, go all the way to the top menu, and go over to settings. That's all right. Just hit A button there. Okay, go over to settings. Okay, now if you see the third option, go down, hit down with your, and it's the third option right there. Right there. Click on that.
Man, don't let you to my son. It'll lock me out of all my games.
So right here, this is a child-proof area that they added for preventing them from playing bad games, and they give you a list, well, or non-child games, I should say.
Right,
Um,
right.
so
And
that
that's nice.
that
Again,
is
it's
nice.
nice to have that there for people who want to have that. There's nothing wrong with that. It's good.
And one of the other things I thought was really cool, Daniel, if you want to hit B to go back. So, Glenn, you remember when we first had to pair our dongles? If you go over, Daniel, to the controller and click on that. Yep, click on the controller. So before we just had a list
Right.
for our dongles. Now we actually have some
Much
artwork.
nicer. Yeah, much nicer.
So I think that's really good that they enabled that.
And that's again, this is one of those perfect showcases of why the community talking to the companies is such a good thing because they get real time feedback. Not listen to a marketing company saying, we did a survey of 4,000 people and this is what they wanted." You're talking to the people who you really are targeting, the real demographics, and real time feedback. And this is what we get. They get firmware updates and they implement it. It's great.
Now there was one other thing that they did in this, and I'm blanking right off the top of my head here. Does anybody want to remind me? I can we go back out to the main menu? I was the add-ons. It was where it was loading. It was this, and I forget what the other thing is. I did a video on it, and I can't even remember what the other
The one thing
option was.
I tried and I still don't have working and wish they'll fix is USB keyboard. Um, the like if you're putting your Wi-Fi, like my Wi-Fi security key is humongous. It's huge. Putting a keyboard in and typing it we like better, but the keyboard is not working as a true keyboard. The escape key works and it's like mapped to their system. It'd be nice if they put a setting in there in the next firmware update to have an actual USB keyboard connect and work, especially when you're loading your like MAME or other bring your own type of games through your own
Yep.
emulator. Being able to hit tab and get into those menus right now, you can't do that. So I
Uh,
hope AtGames is listening once again,
yep.
and they implement USB keyboard support.
So there is one other thing, and thank you for the chat room. I did find it on my YouTube video. I had to go to my YouTube video. Aspect ratio. So
Yeah, yeah.
Daniel, if you want to navigate back out to the games that are already, I guess you could do it on any of them, but let's go back to the game list. So go over to all the way to the left, and I'm going to put him full screen so I can actually see what's going on here. Go actually to the
And I'm really
games.
glad they added this. This is great.
Yeah, and just go up to where I guess right there. Click there. And then go into one of the games that are in here. Oh, go to the top list. Yep, go into all. And then just click on grab one of the games. Whichever one you want to grab.
Just not tic-tac-toe.
Yeah, just not Go ahead and hit the A
There
button and
you
go in.
go.
There he's going in there. He's doing a good job.
He
All right.
is.
He's a producer from the other side. All right. Okay, so Daniel, before you do anything, hit the menu button. So now if you look at the bottom there, the second to last option, it says center. If you go down, go ahead,
Display
Daniel.
mode.
Display mode, right there. Go one more, right there. Now hit left. So there, it made it a little bit wider. Hit left again. There, it stretches it full
Yep.
screen.
And some people would hate that, but you know what? There are times I don't mind having the screen stretch and just have the whole play field, especially if two people are there at the same time. It's really neat that they did this, and I love it. It's a great thing to add.
Well, and like I said in my video, Glenn, honestly, if you get kids, like my son, he's not a video guy yet. I'm working on it, but he's not going to care. He wants it to fill the whole screen, so he'll play
Right,
Aladdin stretched. He'll play a console. He's not going to care.
right. It's only the purists, and there's nothing wrong with that. There are purists, but give the option to other people, and that's what they did. Better to have and not use than not have it and want to use. I mean, that's my motto.
Yeah, I mean, before we didn't have any options, right? We had to do this, or we were kind of stuck with bezel art, which I've been doing. I've been
Right,
doing some bezel
and it looks
art.
nice.
Yeah, it does. It does look nice. So he's gonna play. I guess it looks like Aladdin right now, right? Yep, he's playing Aladdin. So he's gonna. No. Oh,
No, it's not Aladdin. Like
is.
Aladdin doesn't. Is it a courtroom?
Oh, I didn't see it. I'm sorry. The bezel looked like Aladdin a little bit.
I
Okay.
think it's 64th Street or something like
Yeah,
that.
64th Street. That was one that we had
Yeah,
fun with. Him and I. We did that game. Um, so I mean, honestly, Glenn, I think they did a really good job. Rumor is there's another update coming next week, which is going to have a screensaver that I've been
yeah.
reading in the
That's been.
forums.
Yep, that's something that again a lot of people in the community, myself included, wanted to see. A lot of times you want to leave these machines running. Now on the arcade one ups, you probably selected a game and it'll run in its in its mode. But sometimes you want to see a bunch of different games, and that's a perfect example since it's designed to have multiple machines on there to have a screensaver running in the background. Now
Um,
it'd be interesting to see if it's just stills or it's got some video feeds because I know there were. I mean, I'm going back a ways. There was like MAME screensavers where you can use screenshots or play some video footage of the game. Now I'm asking for a lot, but I think it's nice they're adding it. Again, they're just listening to what we want and adding it, and that's a great thing.
yeah, and some of the guys in the chat room, they're saying, well, Aladdin's not bad stretched, and it really isn't. I mean, from a video, like I deal with video all the time. I don't want to stretch it out, but it's like it doesn't matter if you have little kids that come over, they're not going to care. You could make it full screen. If they don't see black bars, it's not old to them, right? Because we grew up with black bars.
Well, yeah, yep.
It's just how it is. But all in all, like they said in the other one, David Alexander says Glenn will make the AtGames Ultimate Arcade better. He's putting a lot of
Well,
pressure on you.
I hope so. He is, and to be honest, at Games has talked to me a lot as well. They want to, and that's what's really great about them is that they want these enhancements. They want me to make these things for their machine. They don't want their machine locked down. Really do want the community to make add-ons for it. They don't want it to be left alone. They want you guys to personalize it. They want new controllers for it. They want these things added to it, and I think that's again At Games had a rocky history with a lot
Hmm.
of people,
Yeah.
and I think right now they are saying, "Listen, new slate, we're starting over," and I'm willing to give them that start, and they're proving it so far. I mean, everything they said they were going to do, they've done so far. The quality's been really good. Now, again, there have been, I think, one or two people heard, that it didn't work out of the box or it was a power supply problem. That that happens with anything. I mean, you go buy a brand new car. That's why you have lemon laws. You go buy a piece of furniture, a piece is broke. There's always going to be one. That doesn't mean the whole machine is no good if you show one or two that are bad. Again, we'll find out more after the Christmas season. So I'm assuming all of these machines will sell a lot more over the holidays, not just us people buying them immediately. And that's when you really find out how they're holding up and how well the customer service is. And I think both sides of the coin, Arcade One Up has really stepped up their customer service. They've had a lot of growing pains, but they took the challenge and they've been improving it.
Hmm.
At Games as well, they contacted me uh, earlier in the week. They said, "Listen, make sure you post our email address here because we're here to help. If people have an issue, they want to hear from them." So both these companies are trying to do that. So that's good. But as far as I can tell, honestly, these machines are good, and At Games is really looking forward to have people mod it. Not just me, other people. I know like Arcade Graphics has been making artwork designs for it. And as maybe ETA Prime or the people start getting into the guts of the emulator, hopefully we can get more emulators working sooner rather than later.
I also think when you brought up Arcade One Up, one of the things that I have to say with them, I think is their biggest weakness right now is their quality assurance. People are getting some limited edition cabinets that are coming broken or cracked, and I understand that it's FedEx, but they can fix that by packaging the things a little bit better. The other issue that I have, and I bought in a few joystick replacements for like my Final Fight cabinet because when I got it, I figured it would be faster than going through the warranty replacement. What is it, $15 for a joystick? So I was like, well,
Right.
I'll just buy it. And it took almost 3 weeks to get this joystick. And I think that's a big issue right now with them where they are not getting you parts fast enough. I mean, some of these guys are getting mad. They've got cabinets that have been sitting 4 or 5 weeks and they
Right.
can't play them. And so now they're selling them for
Right.
parts for people. That's one thing that I
Yep,
think
and
that they need to fix.
you're right, and that's something that has plagued them since the beginning, and not to defend them in any way, shape, or form, but all these stuff is pretty much manufactured in China, and a lot of the part depots are in China. They probably should have a small depot here, maybe some supplies, but right now I know pretty much everything comes in shipments overseas. But yeah, I've definitely seen horror stories. People waited, the screen went out. They waited 2, 3 months to do it. Now, I know it's policy. They ask you not to bring it back to the place you purchased it, and sometimes you can't. Like with a special edition Capcom,
Right.
those came mail only. But if you bought it at Walmart, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I would go back to the place and
I
I would
agree.
exchange it. I would,
I
even
would.
when it says "Do not do it." If I got something and it's dead out of the box, and I'm going to wait more than a day, which you're going to, I would take it back to the company where I purchased it for replacement and have them deal with that part of it. But the special editions, that's a whole nother ball of wax. And I'm sure Arcade One Up is listening, but I just know from the way the companies are set up that that stuff does come from China as needed because when you stock stuff, you have to have a place to keep it, and that costs money when you have to keep it there. I mean, I'm on Amazon, and if my stuff's sitting on Amazon, they charge me a sitting fee for stuff that's there, and it's not cheap.
Yeah.
So I can understand both sides of the coin, but ultimately it comes down to the customer. If the customer's not happy, they're going to come onto the forums, onto YouTube, and they're going to voice their opinion when they're in right to do so, and that will hurt them a little bit. So hopefully they'll find a way to tease the way out of
Yep.
that box they're kind of in right now.
And let's talk about this for a second because we've been seeing this a lot in the different forums. They've got this the community and community. We're talking to you right now. You have this mentality that it's Arcade One Up versus AtGames with the Legends Arcade. That's not that's not the way it is. And if we can say this because there's so many groups out there, don't go in the other groups if the Arcade One Up people don't want you posting about AtGames. Um, Listen, I have both. I think they're both great. My kids like both. I am partial a little bit to the Legends Ultimate only because of the internet connectivity, but it's a feature that's in that differs from the Arcade One Ups. I'm not going to take all my Arcade One Ups and sell them. I mean, you're talking about the person that maybe the demographic, Glenn, that maybe they only have room for one arcade, and the Legends Ultimate fits that need. Whereas people that want to build an arcade in their basement, like I have, and I've got 11 machines sitting here, probably going to be more. Um, you have that option, right?
Right. That's what we talked about also in our premiere episode, and I've talked about it many times that it can't be one versus the other. They're not really targeted at the same demographic, but also maybe some people don't know this that I do have official forums for both. I have an At Games official forum and Arcade One Up official forum. So I'm kind of on a very tightrope with the end users on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
They want to like sometimes lynch each other over the fence there, and there's really no need for it. They are really designed for two different types of people, and sometimes both. Like you have both, I have both. There are a lot of people that will. There's definitely room for both, and to be quite honest, be lucky that you do have both because it's that type of diversity that breeds innovation,
Yep.
breeds cost, breeds improvements in the machines. If there was no competition, there'd be no reason to really improve it. It'd be fine as it is. But now you have someone else building something else, someone else coming out with something else. Now we have virtual pinball machines coming out. Maybe someone else will do this as well. That's what's going to make the consumer, us, the winners out of all this. If they build something that's good, good quality, good games, they're going to sell it. Win-win for everybody.
So the other thing, Glenn, I thought we could talk about here is with the Steam integration in the arcades in the Legends Ultimate cabinet. some people might have saw my video where I did the Killer Instinct, the new version of Killer Instinct, playing on the AtGames. I was not streaming that from a PC to the game. That was all done installed on the built-in Legends server, playing. My son's over there clapping because he loves the Killer Instinct game. Only because he whoops my butt on it all the time. So he's giving me the loser sign now. Um, so, so that was done, and I know Cool Toy was playing it on a special server. So they're doing tests
Right,
on a feature that's coming, right? A feature that they're going to implement where you could stream it from your own PC if it's powerful enough to the
right,
Legends game. And what I want to say with this, Glenn, is everybody at the beginning was all about like, oh, AtGames just wants your money. They just want to charge you, $1 for usage. At the time, that was the only way they knew how to do this. But now,
right,
if that was true, they wouldn't give you this feature to be able to stream it from your PC
right,
at full frames to Legends Ultimate. I mean, Ralph did a video where I guess you can do it, but he said, it's not very good frame rate. But they're working on it so you
right.
can get that, right?
Right, and the beautiful thing about this is, again, they're giving you options. If
That's
you have a
right.
machine powerful enough to do this, they're gonna give you the option to do that. If you have an old 1980s computer like me, an Amiga, that's not gonna work. So, you can then use their server, and there's a cost associated for that. Now, I still think that the cost for a dollar was it I forgot, $10 an hour, $1 an hour? I don't remember
It's
anymore what it was.
dollar an hour for Steam. Yeah.
A dollar an hour.
Yeah.
So I still think that might be a little high for an hour, but if you wanted to play that game and you were incapable of doing it any other way, maybe you're okay with that. But they give you an option. You can use your own machine if you have it and you're capable. If not, we're offering you a server at a fee, and I think that's totally fair, and that's totally, I think, on a good merit on their side.
Well, that's what I think you made a point with saying they want you to do this stuff. They want you to get involved, and I can't stress enough. I mean, out of all and I've dealt with Arcade One Up, I've dealt with some of the other companies. These guys have been the most responsive. I mean, how often do you get the CEO of the company tuning into your videos and checking it out and leaving comments saying he likes your videos, keep it up? Um, just kind of rallying behind the community. I think it's pretty awesome, and the fact that most of these guys that are doing videos, they want to see it. They want to push their limits. And like we talked about, Ralph
Right.
and Cool Toy and P Dub, all you, yourself, and me, we've all been just trying to do whatever we can to give the community options um, for this. Now, I've got a question for you because you've been doing this with ROMs on the internet for quite some time. You've probably seen it in different postings on Facebook and even some of the forums. There's always people asking questions about where do you get your box art. I've gotten it every day since I've done the video where I have the 3D box art now on my arcades, my Legends arcade. They want to know, and I end up telling people in PM only because I've been told that you're really not supposed to say that publicly.
You shouldn't. You shouldn't, because technically it's still, some of it, or the majority, is still copyrighted materials. I mean, this is all that very gray area. We get into anything we're talking about with loading your own games and the artwork. Technically, that stuff is still copyrighted. There's a couple that are not. I know, like Vectrex. It's a game from 1982. They released the ROMs and everything about that to the community. So if you want to load some Vectrex games on your machine, you're welcome to do that. And in MAME, there's Robbie Roto, which is, as far as I know, the only arcade game that was given back to the community. It's yours. You can do what you want with it. Technically, everything else is still copyrighted. Now, there's that gray area. If you purchased Asteroids, from Atari, you kind of have a license for it, but it's not really the arcade one.
Yeah.
It gets to be a very gray area. Now, there may come a time where these companies may, Nintendo is infamous. I mean, absolutely infamous for this. That if you have their game or their artwork, they will come after you, shut you down, shut your channel down. I know a lot of YouTubers it happened to, and because of that, they won't touch anything Nintendo. They got really bad for a while, and then they kind of backed off a little bit, but now they've kind of come back at it again, mostly at the ROM sites now, which is now making it almost impossible. Not completely, but a little harder to actually get games. And again, it's their intellectual property. They're completely within their right to do so.
Hmm.
The community comes down to, on the other side of the coin, is, I probably put enough money in to buy 50 Donkey Kong machines back in his day, and there's no way to actually get the arcade game. I mean, if Nintendo was to come out with a three-quarter scale, Donkey Kong Jr., Donkey Kong 3, they would sell like a jillion of them. But my understanding is they may not have the complete license themselves for it
Mhm.
because it's kind of murky with Donkey Kong. That's why that one's been so hard to nail down. But that's why you shouldn't. I mean, that's why even in my groups, if people try and post links to those
Yeah.
things, I have to shut it down because Facebook or YouTube will literally shut me down and ban me because those companies will go after them. So you have to be very
Well,
careful with that. You could
this
Google's your friend though. You Google
right.
something, you'll find anything.
The reason I brought that up is because, like I said, I've been dealing with it this week, and some of the responses that I've gotten from people where I've asked other people and they refuse to help me as of they have some kind of secret. And I tried to explain to them in a private message. The reason is not because they're being snobbish and they don't want to help you, is because the
Right.
legality behind it. So
Absolutely.
that's why I wanted to talk about it here so people understand if you go to Glenn and you message him like, Glenn, where are you getting your ROMs from? And Glenn doesn't answer you, it's not that Glenn's being snobbish. It's the fact that there's a legality behind it. So this is all
Right.
at your own risk. We're not condoning or we're not telling you to go grab ROMs and do this type of stuff. But I just wanted
Right.
to kind of put that out there because, like I said, I got a lot of messages this week about, hey, can you help me? And I'm all about helping people. I'll help you, but you have to do it off the
The
record,
right
so to
way.
speak. Yeah.
Right. Well, that's why, like, with the arcade one-ups, I love having, like, this Astros machine. I mean, that's one of my favorite games. Space Invaders. I am ecstatic. They're officially licensed, purchased them myself, and I love having them. That's just sometimes it's hard to get them or it's impossible. Some companies like Exidy, um, Cinemaware, all these companies are gone. You never know even who even has the copyright on them anymore, let alone be able to get them. So, like I said, it's a very murky area, but I will say is Google's your friend. It's better just to do a little research that way because trust me, it's not that hard. It will take a little bit, but it's not that hard. But to ask anyone else for them, they're probably not going to answer it again. Like you said, it's not being snobbish. It's just that legally, you know, hands off. Got to be
Well, that's kind of why I wanted to put that out there. I really didn't want I told some people we were going to be doing a live show, and I said, listen, we'll address it because you're just better off. Like I think Ralph said it in here, you're just better off not talking about it. So that's why if your post gets deleted, if something like that happens, don't
right.
take offense to it and go to another group and bash them. Again, this is kind of it sounds simple, but again, sometimes you have to explain this when you have something like this going on. So that's why I thought now would be a good time to talk about it and kind of explain this. So, but all in all, Glenn, the last 2 weeks, we're waiting for Arcade One Up to come out with something. Any word on the revamp of the Karate Champ, which is now going to be the Burger Time cabinet? Have you heard anything?
Right.
I know some people said first quarter 2020. Have you heard anything as to a defecto?
Well, that's another funny story. That was Karate Champ was supposed to come out with Burger Time in it, and then I'll never forget when I was talking to Rerez, and he's like, "Why'd they do that? It should be Burger Time. That's the game. Blah blah blah." And I reached out to Scott, who's CEO of Arcade One Up, and I said, Rerez said this, and I kind of agree. I mean, Karate Champ was okay. It was for its time, it was a pretty staple of a game, Karate Champ, but it was nowhere near what Burger Time was. And he goes, well, to be honest, Karate Champ was my personal favorite game, so I simply chose Karate Champ. But so many people had said that to him that he actually nixed the Karate Champ machine and he's changing it into Burger Time. And if you actually look at it, almost like the Star Wars cabinet, it's not their generic cabinet. It's styled a little bit more towards the way the machine was, like the hat in Burger Time will be on the machine. So most I've heard again is about first quarter. That's pretty much all I heard from that as well. It's basically the exact same machine, just the sides are different, the artwork's a little bit different, and they changed the default game, to come up with the Burger Time over Karate Champ. But if you look at the control scheme, it's still a Karate Champ control scheme on there.
Well, and that's one of the games. Like, I really want the Star Wars, but I've really kind of I have a lot of Star Wars action figures that are still in the box that are over on the other side of the studio and the arcade. And I've been collecting. I'm a big Darth Vader fan, so I've been collecting a long time. But I,
That's what we need. Why won't they come out with a Darth Vader film? You had to have read Dark Lord, the Rise of Darth Vader. Did you read that?
no, I didn't read it. No.
Oh, all right. First of all, it's a great book. Go out right now and either read the book or get the audio book. Dark Lord, The Rise of Darth Vader. And they've been killing me with these last 3 films, killing me. Just come out with this movie, that it could be a trilogy. That's 3 films of Vader right there that we should have got with the prequels anyway.
Yep.
Give me Darth Vader. That's what I want. Please.
I
Thank
agree with you. I have like the official full scale Ruby's authentic Darth Vader costume that I wear. I've worn it meet and greets and things like that. But I wanted one to kind of set off to the side, not next to my other cabinets, but kind of over there where my Star Wars stuff is. But I just have to do so much maneuvering with these couches. I told my wife, guess we're going to lose one of the couches. She's like, they got recliners built in. You're not getting rid of them. So Burger Time's one of my favorite next to Pac-Man of the retro games. So I'm trying to
you.
like,
That's also on your isn't that on the Ultimate Legends?
it is on the, oh, I have every version on the Ultimate. I made sure that
See?
I go all the way back to the Atari 2600 version too, because I mean, it's just the way you played it, when everything was like a square.
Yeah, it actually it was so simple back then, but actually it was still fun, to be honest. My 2600 still love it. It's so simple, but sometimes it's that simple gameplay that's better, sometimes.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I know for a fact that some of these games, like even Pac-Man, like I've gotten going, and my son's looking at it like that's not Pac-Man. So like he's used to it a different way. So I think we have a caller calling in here.
All right.
I'm just waiting to see. I'm not sure if the video. I'm not getting any video or audio from the person. So if they can hear us, you may have to retry that again and add your video and audio. So I'll drop you off and then just try to come back in. If we can do that, that's the only thing about doing this live on air, and that's fine. That's fine. I think everybody will be excited when this person comes on, so that's all right. We'll kind of we'll leave
Yeah,
them in
we'll wait.
we'll leave them in suspense. But
We got a little time.
so
This is how we spend our Friday nights.
well, exactly. So Arcade One Up, the new Burger Time one. Hopefully, they haven't announced anything else, but probably CES. I'm thinking in
Right,
January. That's when they're gonna
right,
announce all the big
right.
should
And
do.
all I can say is I think people will be excited. I can't go say more than that. I I made promises, but I will say that I think people will be excited with the things coming out at the CES from Arcade One Up.
Well, it'll be interesting to see. That's for sure. Because I just what at what point do you say, well, now I really have not enough room. What where am I gonna put this stuff?
Well, I got to start stacking them. I think. I mean, that's the 3 quarters. You could probably put one on top of another and get a ladder and play. That's I think I got to start doing that next.
Either that or I put them in the center of the room and put them back to back or something like that, right?
Well, it's that's another good thing, just seeing how people have been putting their machines in, and the back to back doesn't actually look too bad. Like in the middle of the room, just run them right down the center, and you can double them up and put them around the sides. Hey, if you can get them in your house, the wife lets you do it. A guy will find a way.
Absolutely, absolutely. Like I said, I'm gonna try. Like even now with the pinballs, man, I'm gonna end up with like them. I'm gonna end up with them in all these other rooms. You know what I mean? Like she's gonna kill
Well,
me.
and I agree, and that's why these smaller ones are good. You can get 4 or 5 of these small ones in, where maybe 1 or 2 would fit in normally. So people always took these small ones as a negative, but it's actually a positive, especially when it comes to space.
Yep. I think it'll be something. I mean, how many of you guys out there are really looking forward to getting 20 cabinets? I mean, is that something that you're going to do? Do you have the room for it? I mean, I'm sitting here. I have a huge basement. My house is over 3,000 square feet, and my basement. I have 3 floors if you count the basement. But my basement is. I have this room. I have a music room. I have a laundry room. I have a full bathroom down here. I mean, it's a big area. So I've got my studio on one side of it and like a third of it, and then I've got all the arcades running down the wall, Glenn. Like literally, um, here's just an example you guys can see, like going right down the side, right? And that's only some of them. The other three are up here, but you'd see all kinds of cameras and stuff in the way. But and then I've got my console TV over there with like all the retro consoles as well as the PS4 and the Xbox One. So I'm running out of room, Glenn.
Oh yeah.
I don't
Oh,
know what I'm
I
gonna
ran out
do.
of room. I ran out a while ago. I got the basement already packed. I got my theater room now being taken care of over here. I have a room upstairs that's already taken care of, but you know what? I'll find room. Always will. You don't need a refrigerator. You go out to eat.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that would fly too well with my wife, though. I think she would end up. Yeah, that would probably not be good. I don't think. She'd be like, "What?" So I don't know. It's one of those things where I guess we're gonna have to wait and see. Uh,
Right,
I'm assuming we're gonna have. I know people are probably gonna ask. Probably gonna be. I would say 3 cabinets. I think that would be fair to say that that's what's gonna be coming. I mean, that's what they've been releasing 3 cabinets at a shot when they're coming out with them. But I wouldn't be surprised if, like I said, at CES, Burger Time is like the main daddy, and then whatever other ones. Rumors have
right.
been NBA Jam with the same setup as the Ninja Turtles. That was something that I've seen rumors all over the internet with. Um, that was and I also heard, Glenn, I've heard Tron, and I'm not getting you to divulge your information. I'm just saying I've heard those are the 3 big cabinets that are going to be coming in January in CES. So I'd personally like to see a Double Dragon trilogy cabinet. Honestly, that's what I'd like to see. That's just me.
That would actually be pretty good. I was never really into Double Dragon in the arcades. I did like it on the Sega Master System. That's where I actually played it on. But I was never really into the arcades. But a lot of people really have good nostalgia for Double Dragon for sure.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I don't know. I'm a big I like the beat 'em ups. Anybody that watches streams when I go live, I'm a big fan. Only because now my son's old enough to play video games, and I enjoy I enjoy playing beat 'em ups like Final Fight, the Turtles. A lot of people are like, well, why do once you beat the Turtles, you're kind of done with it. And then you have like 64th Street, which is he's playing Wreck-It Ralph right now, I believe. Um, oh, Fix It Felix right here. He's playing over
Right
there.
there you go.
Sorry. Um, but he's playing that over there. But again, we like to play the beat 'em ups, the 64th Street, and that was probably the first game we played on the Legends. And it's just something him and I can play. We can help each other out while getting through it. And yeah, I mean, I don't know.
It's good father son time. My son and I will
Yep.
play Metal Slug on the AtGames. We play that, and it's fun. I mean, it's fun when you're a kid enjoy something that you do. It's one of those rare bonding moments you get when they're not on Fortnite or
Yep.
Minecraft.
Bubble Bobble's good as well. What we'll do right now, Glenn, while we're waiting for our guest to try to get in here, to see if he can get in a little bit, let's wrap the show, but keep the post, like keep it for we'll keep a post show going, so I could stop the recording and actually have a decent 1 hour video for YouTube or
Oh,
something.
ooh, that'll beat our last time. We were at 2 hours
Well,
last
we
time, I
went
think,
two
right?
hours last time, but we can keep the live feed going so nobody go anywhere. But we just want to kind of wrap this up because we want to give everybody a reason as to why you would want to join us when we're live. I think that would be good. So um, again, I don't know, Glenn, if we're going to do this a Friday, if we're going to do this a Saturday. I don't know, but it just
We're gonna
seems
try and keep it weekly. You know, we did last week was just a bad week, weekend, but we do want to try and do it weekly if we can, and we'll try and bring up some topics of that week in the episode. If not, we can just talk about whatever you guys want to talk about in the chat. Let us know, and we'll discuss it.
okay. Wait, but
Oh,
before
I
we
hear you guys now.
wait before we close out,
Oh, we got him.
there's a guy. I don't know, Ralph. Do you this guy named
Dun
Ralph?
dun dun.
He's the party
Hey
crasher.
guys,
Did you
how's it
know?
going?
You know his son is beating you up right now on the arcade, the AtGames machine right now.
Actually, I gotta go pick him up soon, so I can't be on very long. But thank you for inviting me for a couple minutes.
Yeah, we wanted to give you a chance to talk a little bit real quick, and I'm not going to kill the video yet. Obviously, you've seen this pinball. We're going to go back to this pinball thing for a little bit. Um, what's your take? Obviously, we have no specs on it. We have nothing to go off of except a little
Yeah,
30-second video. Do you think this is a good move on the part because of the price point, the 3/4 size? Because I alluded to you have like a $2,000 unit, I think. that you put together?
Yeah, so yeah, I've had a couple of different ones over the years. The one that I liked the most that gave me the best experience was a company that's way more expensive than that, obviously. It was a company called VP Cabs. It was actually
Yeah,
on, Shark Tank.
yeah, I remember them.
Yeah, their stuff's still around, but it's really expensive. So, I mean, I it'll be interesting. I'm a little skeptical, but, I mean, from first glance, with the games it looks like it's running on it, I mean, it could be kinda cool. I mean, I'm gonna be I guess cautiously optimistic, right? I think it could be kinda cool. The only thing that I would say that throws me off a bit is that usually you have the metal border, that's over the screen, and it's usually just like a border. It doesn't go in so much. So
Right.
I I like that they were trying to get that style element there because that looks cool, but I feel like it's gonna throw people off when you're looking at it, but, that's one of those simple things, right?
Mhm.
Hit it
That's
with some
that's
flat
what
black
modding's all about, Ralph.
hit it with some flat black paint, and you're good to
That
go.
that's it. Or a bigger screen. Maybe we can get a bigger screen in there if we can get into the interface.
Somebody
Yeah,
actually
that
somebody actually
yeah.
commented earlier on in this that they said, "Isn't the screen on this about the exact same size as the Legends Ultimate screen?" And that
It's
does make
24 inch.
sense. Is it 24? I
Yeah,
thought it
'cause
was 32.
No,
no,
24 inch.
yeah, they advertise it as 24.5, but yeah, it's pretty much
So
I'm
it's
sure
even
it probably is
smaller.
24, yeah.
So it's even smaller than the Legends Arcade.
Yeah, yeah, but, I'm looking at it right now.
That's
I
not
guess if you
bad.
would've Yeah, that's not bad. I think
Mm-mm.
it'll be fun. I mean, you know what? It's gonna be fun regardless. I think it'll be fun, and we'll see. I'm sure there'll be a whole bunch of opportunities to make improvements to it, right? And maybe they'll be like AtGames and Arcade 1UP and listen to the community and continue to develop it. But I heard there are some other companies trying to get into this game too of the mini pinball, mini virtual pinballs. So
Yep.
maybe
I've heard that. It's just difficult. As Ralph will tell you, the virtual pinball is surprisingly harder to emulate than the arcade machines because
yeah.
all the ball dynamics in 3D. So this is interesting that this is starting, and I'm dying to see where it goes and where it ends up.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I think it'll be really neat. It'll just be we'll see. If more competitors jump in, I think it will put some pressure. But the one thing that I've noticed from just playing with these in the past is if you don't have the right processing speed and GPUs, the only thing that can be real distracting is if the ball has too much lag. It can
Yep.
kind of ruin the experience for you. That's the only thing I've seen that can really throw it off. So I'm sure they would. They've probably got that down if they're going to release it as a product. I hope so.
Well, I think it'll be really good. At least and if people understand and have the expectation that, hey, this is a toy. I mean, dare I say it? I know I probably catch a lot of flack because I even said that about the arcade one ups, but I mean, it's fair to say it is. It's not what you have as a $2,000 virtual pinball. It's a toy. It really
Yeah.
is.
I mean, it looks really cool. So I mean, it'll be, it's just like anything else, right? I think Arcade One Up, I think they put in a decent amount of effort for the version or Rev One cabinets, and then I don't know, I have this thing in my mind, and I don't know if I'm right about this, but I have this thing in my mind that I don't think they realized
Mhm,
how interested people would be,
mhm.
and then they went, "Oh my gosh, we have something here. Let's listen and make it better." So
Right.
this company may not put out all the stops in this version one, but if they see that people are really interested, maybe they'll start, make those improvements. But I mean, at first glance, the video it looks pretty cool. So I mean, hey, for $400 for a virtual pinball, that's amazing. If they even have that remotely right, even 50% right, that's pretty amazing
Right, and
for that
and
kind
Ralph, I
of
think, just hit it on the head with that, that these companies, when they first come out with their version 1, they're testing the waters. I mean, we know what we want, but as a company who's spending thousands, tens of thousands, or sometimes millions of dollars, they need to really test the water to see if the product they're putting out is even really wanted. And when it takes off like
Mhm.
Arcade One Up did, they absolutely if you look at the original, advertising for it as well, the Arcade One Up won the Tech Toy of the
Right.
Year award. It was a toy. We just kind of lifted it up from there, and they realized, hey, we can add a little better this, a little better that, and now you raised it up to a different level, and people will spend that kind of money. And I agree with Ralph. I think this company this is the first generation. See how it turns out, and if it pans out and it sells well, we'll see a generation two even better.
yeah.
Be, before
Um,
before
yeah.
we before you got to jump, Ralph, I do want to get you and Glenn's thought on this. Now, I don't know if you guys have noticed and saw in some of the I've been kind of following some of these threads about QVC and the Home Shopping Network putting out See, they're laughing already because they know where I'm going to go with this. There's a lot of disgruntled people that bought the limited marble cabinet, and they're furious because they like the one on the Home Shopping Network better. What's your take on that? We'll go with Ralph. We'll get you go first.
Well, I heard the the barrage of feedback with MK2, so I'm gonna guess you're gonna get a lot of those same complaints. I mean, I get it. I get that they're making the improvements, and I think I don't know. I come from a technical background where I, sell technology. So version one of anything, right? It's like you said, they're trying to figure out, is there a market for it? Do we have the right features? And then they fine tune it. And unfortunately, when you're doing rev one of anything, it's going to improve. So I just think sometimes it's hard for people to swallow that. So I can see if I'd be upset. I'd be a little upset, but
Yeah.
at the same time, technology, it happens in technology, right? It's always going to get better. And so version one of anything, this happens, right? I don't fault Arcade One Up for it. They just kind of want to make the product better. And there's a whole new set of customers coming in that don't even know, they never even saw the version one
Right.
product. So that's my take on it. It's not their fault. It's just they're trying to evolve and make the product better.
Glenn?
Yeah, he's right. I mean, whenever you buy something like these, if you're an early adopter, you have to expect you are an early adopter, and if the product is doing well, there's going to be improvements made later on down the road. So you have two options. You can be an early adopter and accept that, which most of us tend to do, or you can wait and see what happens. But most of the time, you want this so bad, you don't want to wait. And again, you can't fault.
Wait, Glenn, we want to play games, Glenn. We can't wait.
No, we cannot wait. We can't
We have
wait.
no patience. We just want to
Hey,
play.
listen, I will be happy. Listen, Arcade One Up, I will be happy. Just release in your store the PCB that is for that Pac-Man that has the 4 games instead of the 2. I'll swap my PCB. I'll be a happy camper. Don't make me buy a new
Let's
Yeah,
put
machine.
a we'll put a
you know,
pie in there for you. Get a lot more than that.
Glenn, I don't know if you've ever had conversations with Arcade One Up on this, but one thing I was actually talking to a buddy of mine, and he goes, "Well," he asked me the same question that Steven just asked, like, "Hey, do you think people are going to be upset?" And I said, "Yeah, of course they're going to be upset." And at the end of our conversation, I went, "I don't know why they wouldn't just offer like an upgrade kit so you can actually make yours look like the new one, because I actually think people would pay for that."
I'm one of
Well,
those people that would do that instead of buying a new cabinet.
Yeah.
I actually had talked before even Arcade One Up was selling their machines, way back when Harold was still with them, talking about doing like a store and having upgraded parts, stuff like that. And I actually do think that's something in their mindset. So I wouldn't be surprised if we did see a store opening up for that exact thing. I wouldn't be surprised.
As long
See, when Glenn says that, Steven, I feel like he's hinting towards something he
Yeah,
knows.
yeah. Well, and it's like it's like I said to him, as long as they fix the shipping time is killing them. Like there's no reason that you're buying a knockoff joystick that Amazon can give you in like 24 hours and even sometimes same day where I'm at, that it takes you 3 to 4 weeks to ship a $15 joystick and the price is on it. $12 to ship a joystick that costs $15.
Yeah.
Like they got to fix some things with that,
Yeah.
you know. I don't know. That's just my 2 cents on that, but I would like to see that PCB though. I with Pac-Mania on it, and I'd swap it out of mine in a heartbeat.
Well, don't ever forget about Very Very Sneaky. You never know what he can come up with.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, that is true.
So I don't have a link handy, but that reminds me of something. Somebody just messaged me because I was reading the comments here on YouTube, and people are saying about $75 cabinets. Console kits. If
Oh,
you're
right.
not
Oh,
following
yes.
him, let's
How'd
talk
we forget
about
it? How'd
that.
we forget about that?
I
How
you
did we forget about
That's
that?
why we got the community telling us.
Ah,
Check it. So I don't know which one of you guys want to go through. I'll see if I can dig up the link if one of you guys want to take it, so I can get off camera and actually dig and
well,
find
if
a
you want
link.
to take it, you were the latest guy coming in. You could take it.
Yeah, here, do you want me to put it in the, is there a chat? Can I just throw it in the chat or?
Yeah, you could. Well, actually, if you're on Facebook, if you go to facebook.com/thetechbuzz,
Okay, hold on. Okay.
and then you'll see the live video if you scroll down on the timeline. Throw it in that chat so I can click on it, and I'll pull it up as you're talking about it.
The console kits is like an angel here. This is fantastic what he did. This is amazing. He basically wrote.
Where do I throw it? Do I throw it in the? send message area or?
You can send it in the
Oh,
message to me, and then I'll throw it in.
I
That's
see.
fine.
I
Yeah,
got
you can do that.
So, so what Console Kits did here, he wrote a script in the browser. Normally, you would go to like BrickSeek and you'd put in your SKU and you try and find a store that's got the product with the price. You go to his link that this guy Console Kits, man, bless you. You put your zip code in, and automatically shows all the stores, what the price is, and if it's in stock or not. So if it's a $75 Space Invaders or a Centipede near you, it'll tell you what store has it. Here we go. This is amazing. He did this all by himself on his own time for the community. And huge, huge props out to Console Kits for doing this. So
Yeah. So
it'll put
I don't wanna tease anything, Glenn, but it's even gonna look more pretty soon too. Like, it's amazing anyway, but he's got a little project hopefully I'm not spilling any beans, but it's gonna look really cool too.
spill them beans.
So he's gonna watch this video, and because people are gonna be like, they're talking about your thing, and then he's gonna hear Ralph go, he's gonna make make this thing look so much better. And
He's
he's
like,
gonna go,
"Wait."
Ralph.
Yeah,
Well,
probably.
it's just impressive that he did this at all. I mean, I am not that much of a program anymore. Years ago, basic, sure, but this is amazing to me because using BrickSeek sometimes was a pain and a hit and miss. This is just put in your zip code and you just see everything. That's fantastic.
Yeah, there will be wives, girlfriends, and partners everywhere pissed off because of this website.
If it's not, P Dub put a picture up yesterday. He got like a $75 Space
Asteroid, right?
Invaders.
Or
Oh, was
Space
it?
Invaders.
Yeah, Space Invaders. And
Well,
I
you're
and
right,
I
Space
commented. I says, your wife's taking this picture as your last picture, right? Because she's gonna kill you because now you got another cabinet.
Well, the way to think about it is he could have spent 300 or 200. He got up to 75
Oh,
bucks. She should be kissing him.
Yeah. See, I like the way you're thinking. Now, if we could get if we could get Star Wars down that cheap, hey, I'd be down with that. Then I'd figure a place
I'll
to put it.
yeah, I'll have Kim call you, Glenn, so you can explain it to her.
I will take care of it, Ralph, man. I'll talk to Kim. Don't you worry.
Okay, she likes you though already. She saw you. I can't remember in one of these live streams you said something really nice, and she's like, "I really like that Glenn guy." I'm like, "So maybe I could actually have her call you to help me
I'll
out a
take
little
care
bit."
of it, man. Because you got the same. All three of you guys have the same problem. Well, two of you guys. Yeah, I still got my vertigo. You both you guys have the same problem that I have. Is our hobby is it's not really always expensive, but there's a lot of it. I mean, you
Yeah.
can't just have one
Mhm.
copy of Pac-Man. You're gonna have the arcade, the handheld, the watch, the belt. It's a
Yeah.
sickness.
But you,
But it's better than going out to the bars. Tell her that
yes,
too. I'm not at the bars, not at the strip club. I am in the basement talking to two other men.
yep.
What's better than that?
That that just went down a
Leave it
hole
to
very
Glenn.
bad.
Leave it to Glenn to put it into perspective.
Well, what got me like I got into this because I used to build Hackintoshes out of PCs just because I could do it. I have Mac computers, but it was something that I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. And then I started finding like ETA Prime. He's throwing Raspberry Pis in these @1 games. I'm sorry, the Arcade 1-Up games, and I'm like, oh, well, I could do that. I know enough about Linux. I can play around with this. And so, I, and I know I'm going to take flack from this, I have about 10,000 games on one of these. And people are like, well, why do you want so many games on it? And it's when like people come over, that's like the party game, right? They'll say, oh, do you have this game? Yep, it's on there. And so it's nostalgia for them because they can go and play this game that they've never or they haven't played in like 20 years. And I think that's the best part of all this is being able to do those types of things and the community bringing it all together. So I don't know. I think it's fun. My son's over there having a ball on the Legends.
Well, it's keeping the history alive.
Yeah.
It's important.
Yeah. No. Oh, nice. You moved over to what's he playing? Oh, see, he's trying to figure it out.
Well, he was saying he wanted to play Killer Instinct, but I don't know if he knows how to go into the. Okay, well, go ahead, go into Steam if you know how to do it. So I have him. He's actually he was switching for us over there. Believe it or not, we have like this complicated setup. So look, he can switch to
He's
any
taking
camera.
control.
If he wants to be really excited for about 3 minutes, play Iron Commando. Iron Commando is like one of those games where you play it and it becomes a really big buzzkill pretty fast.
Is that
it's like very, very, very competitive.
is that one of the built-in games that he can go to?
It's a built-in game.
Go
Yeah,
up, go up
it's
to Iron
brutal.
Commando. Go up. It's built in, Daniel, instead of Steam. Go up, hit the B button for back. There you go, and then go back to all your game list. Actually, put the game's full screen so we can actually read it here.
I think he was. I think it's one page up. I think.
One page up.
Oh, he's on arcade. Oh, he's on ArcadeNet. That's why I don't
Oh,
see it.
keep going backwards. Go back to the actual
One
built-in
more.
games. One more. Nope, the other way.
Nope, the other way. The other way.
There you go. There you go. There you go. All
There
right,
you
go
go.
down to
It's
go down to the games and
51.
go one page over. Now go to the
No, it's right there. Actually,
Oh, right there,
right
right
next to
there.
Big Run. One up and then to the left.
What's it called?
Iron Commando. Other way. Other left.
Go the other way, buddy.
It might be his right. I don't know.
It's called Iron Commando. Yes. All right.
tried to do a live stream
Go ahead,
of this
go into
game
that.
once, and it's so repetitive.
Yeah, you can play Steam after that. Go into that. Can you go full screen on that, Daniel? No, switch it. Switch it on your controller. No, not that. Not that. He was gonna go change the aspect ratio. No. Change it. Hit your button there to your little controller. No, your Stream Deck. Now, the controller over by 2-player. Oh my goodness. No, that's a power button. That's gonna shut that thing right off.
And off.
How you switch your cameras? Oh, he's like, oh, that one. Go to full screen. I don't have control. There we go. So that because I don't have control over that.
That's coming through as an NDI source.
Yes.
That was cool.
So okay, so with Wirecast, I have a bunch of different cameras that are over there where I do my YouTube videos at, and a microphone set up. Like I can actually unmute his microphone there. And then I have a Stream Deck connected to a MacBook Pro, which is running Wirecast, and he's able to switch any of those sources in Wirecast with that. And then I'm taking Wirecast out with NDI over to this studio where
That's cool.
We're sitting here, and then I could pull it up as a source. So it's kind of like a switcher within a switcher.
Yeah, that's neat.
So then we
use the
can pull it in.
source.
Yeah. So this is the game you were talking about, right?
Yeah, it's cool for about the first couple levels, and then it's just really repetitive. It's like it's trying to be a good side-scrolling beat 'em up, but it's so redundant, and the music's cool in the beginning, but then you realize the music is actually the same music just over and over and over again. It tried. It was an okay effort, but I know Glenn is a big Streets of Rage fan, and that's like
I love that.
to me. So yeah.
Well, we're gonna have
The
to do.
soundtrack alone.
We're gonna have to set up a time where we can get you, Doug, and Glenn on, and I'll just kind of switch around and just kind of commentate, and we'll do kind of where we can pull different games up and talk about it, where you guys can be kind of in your high-end areas, and then I can get him to play the games that we want to talk about or something like that. I think it would be fun. I think. What do you guys think in the community? Do you guys think this would be good? I mean, we could play. I could pull it up Arcade 1-Up. I think I can pull that in with NDI too. I think I have another device that I could hook to it if we had to. And I know you probably have consoles set up, right, that you could pull in?
Yeah, I have a whole bunch. I have a whole HDMI. I'm not as sophisticated up here, but I have an HDMI switcher that goes to my Elgato. So I have like 8 or 10 things I can kind of put up at one time.
I got a good old Connexent 320 by 220 black and white webcam I could stick up and put on my console.
I also have set up on a MacBook Pro, my personal one. I have OpenEMU.
Oh yeah, OpenEMU is actually really cool on a Mac.
So it's one of the easiest. So if anybody wants to get into kind of playing
so easy
stuff, you can see all the consoles. But we could pull in. What I'm saying is, we could pull in any of the games if we wanted to talk about them. I have it pulled.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
So we could do something like that. And I've got controllers under here. And I'm supposed to tell you on YouTube chat Gotchman, I think that's. I hope I'm not butchering it. He says, Ralph, you need to go pick up your son. Does he do this to you on your live streams? Does he like keep you like on time?
Yeah, there was one that I did where I rushed home and I knew I had like 10 minutes to make a video, and it was something that I was like I got so I don't know, I couldn't get my brain off the topic and I had to do it. And I got home and I did it, and I was like, and I go, all right, how much time do I have left? And he's like, you have 2 minutes to go and get your son. And so, but I wonder, something just came in my mind that I thought about that was interesting. So, and it had to do with the virtual pinball. If we have 1 second, I want to mention it, and it's I'm
Yeah.
tying it back to like your son. So I don't know if you've ever had your son try virtual pinball before, but I kind of laughed when I saw the commercial for that virtual pinball unit because it has a bunch of kids around it, and my son and all his friends, they lose interest in the virtual pinball in like 20 seconds. It's
Really?
sad. It like hurts me inside. I set it all up. I got a tracked mode on. There's lights and all these things, and I'm like, "There's no way they're not gonna love this." 20 seconds and they're done. It's
Oh
really
my
sad to me.
goodness.
They got
So
they need Fortnite character pinball. That's what they
I
need,
was gonna
or
say
Minecraft.
I was just gonna
oh, if
say
it had that, they'd be all about it.
he had his 7th birthday here, and we had it in the studio arcade area here, and the kids came down and they were like, "What is this?" And it's like, well, these are arcades, and some of the kids knew what arcades were, and they're like, "Look at these games! I've never heard of these games." And I'm like, "Oh man, I feel so old," because
Yeah.
he's used to it. Because Rampage was the first machine we got, and I said my brother and I we played that a lot at like Chuck E. Cheese. Well, it was Showbiz Pizza then. We played that all the time there. So he goes to school and he's like, "I got a Pac-Man arcade," and the kids are kind of looking at him like, "What's Pac-Man?" Like you know,
Oh,
yeah, I know. So
Yeah, that
I don't
that
know.
kills me inside a little bit, but
Daniel, have you ever played? Have you here? Let me unmute your mic. Sit down. Have you ever played? Honestly, do you know? Have you ever played? I don't know if you've ever played pinball. Go to your main camera. Your main camera. Have you ever played pinball that you know of? I don't think you have.
No, no.
But he knows Fortnite.
Yeah, but two kids on my bus, they said that I do not have an arcade in my basement.
Oh.
They were just making fun of me.
oh
well,
well,
we
they don't
know
know.
we know the truth, man. We know the
Okay.
truth.
What's with those guys?
So I think it'll be interesting for him. Like I'll put him on the pinball because I'll either pre-order it. I'll see what happens here, but or I'll wait till it comes out and somebody else looks at it and says, "Yeah, get that," or no,
How
don't
old
get it.
is he?
He is 7. He just turned 7, and I have a daughter that's 11.
Okay,
So
so my son's 11, but he was way more into. So I had like a this extension arcade. I don't know if you guys remember that name brand, but they still sell stuff. I think they sell it under Rec Room Masters now. But extension arcade, I had built this big MAME machine, and my son, when he was around your son's age, he loved it. He would play it all the time, and then I don't know what happened. Like somewhere along the way, unless I bring him into wanting to play a retro game, he's not gonna be all excited and want to do it. So but
Yeah.
he will if I kind of bring him into it. But before he'd be like, "Oh, cool! It was like this mysterious thing," and now it's just, yeah, it's not as cool to him, I guess.
because it's not Fortnite.
Dad's toy.
Well, the first thing
Yeah.
he says to me, when I got the Legends, he goes, "Oh, there's Blizzard on there." He says, "Can I play Fortnite on there?" I'm like, "You don't play Fortnite on an arcade cabinet. You just don't." He's like, "Well, no, Epic. I'm sorry, Epic. I was wrong. I don't play Fortnite, so I don't know nothing about it." He's like, "It's got Epic on it," and I'm like, "Okay." And he says, "Can I play Fortnite on this cabinet?" So Ralph, have you played Fortnite on there? Can he play Fortnite
So
on this
actually,
cabinet?
it's funny that you asked that. So I
He's gonna
think it
tell
was
you.
PK at yeah, I think it was PK at AtGames. It was someone at AtGames that asked if I played Fortnite, and I was like, "No, I don't play Fortnite, but my son does." And so the funny thing is, I haven't even told them this yet. They're like, would you be willing to showcase Fortnite?" And I was like, "Well, it's not really something that I would focus on my channel, but I'll put my son in front of it and see what he does." And he was like, he said this, so I haven't told him this yet. He goes, "Why the heck would I play Fortnite on this when I could play it on my big TV out there?" That's what he said. He was honest.
No,
He's like, "I would
yeah.
never play it on this."
But he wants to play it on there. He did say he wanted to play it. He wants it on his Switch. He's got it on the Xbox One. So
Yeah,
he
I,
wants
I
it on
play
everything.
it. I hide. I find a spot to hide. I'm always the second guy alive because I hide like a little turd. I'm in a corner of a room. Everyone else gets killed off, and then they finally get me. So I'm always number 2.
I
Do you know what they call that, Glenn? Do you know the term? I wanna know if Steven knows it. Do you know the
I
term?
do. I do know the term. It's called Glenny. Being a Glenny.
No. That's funny, but no. You know what it's called?
Isn't it the
No.
same thing that they called when you're doing Call of Duty online and you hide?
It's called camping.
Yeah, like that's what they
Oh,
call
I'm
it
a camper.
on Call
Oh
of
yeah,
Duty.
I am too, man. I'm camping until someone kills me, or I
Oh
try to
yeah.
at least.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No
So
shame, Glenn. I camp
Nope.
too.
No, I'm like this in a corner, just hiding, just waiting, and I make it to the end of the game. That's it. I'm always number 2.
I
That
was
didn't sound good.
I was
Anyway,
I was never good with Call of Duty online either, and they used to call me Respawn because that's just how you just always respawning. So, but I was playing
So
with
can I,
guys online.
since you guys like to play retro games, I want to see if I'm in the same, like, if you guys have the same feeling toward this. I feel like when games got beyond like 3 to 6 buttons, that's how I gauge if I can play the game or not.
yeah,
After 6 buttons, I'm out usually.
yeah. I'll tell you a true
Mortal
story.
Kombat
I
Mortal
never
Kombat's my
owned.
limit.
I
Yeah.
never had like the Xbox for like the longest time. And a guy I work with who's much younger than me, half my age, he was playing Halo. And I'm like, oh, it looks good, but he gives me the control. I'm like, what the hell? You got this here, you got to do this, this, this. It took a while. I got used to it, but I agree. Once you get over those 6 buttons, I guess my genome and age is just too much. It's not good for me.
It's amazing seeing your kids play it though. I mean, they just do that. That's totally normal to them. So
So somebody in the
Right, but then put them on a Pac-Man or a Breakout, and they can't play it.
right, right. Somebody
That's
in
true.
the Facebook chat, they're asking about do we have any ideas for light guns? It went somewhere. It was there a few seconds ago. But you did a video just recently, and I apologize, I haven't watched it yet, with the cowboy hat with the light gun. That's I remember the
Oh,
front
I
page.
actually never did that video. I was just a yeah.
Oh, it's
it
just a
was,
picture. That's why I didn't see it.
Yeah, that was actually I was kind of messing around because there was this thing that came out a couple years ago. It was called the Buck Hunter Sure Shot HD, which was a little box. Actually, I have it in the room somewhere with me. It's a little box, and you put it on top of your TV, any TV, and it connects HDMI. So all the Buck Hunter games are already loaded on it, and then you calibrate it on your LCD. It actually works really awesome. I wanted to see if it would work on the smaller screen on the Legends Ultimate, and it works. Obviously, it just needs an HDMI, input, but I was surprised. It actually worked pretty good on a screen that small. But yeah, that was just kind of a goofy thing I just thought I would do. But I guess I was bored that night. I don't know. I think Kim fell asleep, and I was like, and I didn't have the kids that night, so I just said, "What can I do tonight?" And it was sitting in my closet forever, and I was like, I don't really even like Buck Hunter, but it was pretty fun. I'm terrible, by the way. So if you are gonna hunt deer,
Yeah.
like, don't bring me with you.
We just got him. We just got him that for the Switch, that Buck Hunter, right?
How do you play it though on a Switch?
I guess you put the controller inside of the gun. Actually opens up like one of those old double barrels that you open it up and he puts it in. But yeah, he plays it on the Switch.
Oh.
I hunt for real. I hunt for real. I don't play it on
for real, right? Yeah. 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 Well, I'm terrible at Buck Hunter, so for what that's worth.
So, but anyways, I think it's kind of interesting with the light gun situation because of the whole LCD thing. So it'll be interesting to see what everybody brings out.
Yep, there should be something coming down the pike.
I mean, Glenn,
we are. Go ahead, Ralph.
No, I was gonna say, did you see the PDP Mars and I'm sure I bet you probably invested in the Sidon thing, right? Sindin or Sidon or however you say it.
No, actually, I haven't yet. But what I was going to say was that the light gun technology, we have something we're going to be coming out with. It's in our pipeline. But I think light gun games. I hope that like Arcade 1-Up or other companies come out with that too, because that's a genre that's been gone for a while, and there's a lot of good games with those light guns, like Terminator 2, Operation Wolf,
House of the Dead.
Aliens, House of the Dead, exactly. So we actually partnered with a very big company with very good technology. They agreed to license us the tech, so we're just going to basically make the guns. We may have a couple different types of guns that you can pick from. But that's still going to be after the Star Wars. We still have to get the Star Wars yoke off the ground, so it'll be after that.
Well, Glenn, if I'm just saying right now, the one gun cabinet that I've always wanted to own, but it's just the actual arcade one is just too big, and I know that Kim would literally kill me if I had it, and you said it. I would love to have the Terminator 2 cabinet in my house.
That is so good. That was such a great game, wasn't it?
awesome. Like, it was hard as hell in that one scene where you have the van, and you can't let the helicopter hit the van. That's
Right.
probably the hardest parts of the game, but the game is awesome. I love that game so much.
And you can't play. I mean, it came out in the consoles with with the joystick controller and stuff like that, or it's just not the same. You need to have a good weighted light pistol. You do.
Yeah,
And those are games that right now are not really. You can play 'em with a mouse, I guess, but it's not the same.
yeah, I
So
agree.
so there's a Pitbull comments in YouTube. He goes, "OMG, I'm older than all of you. I used to play CS Source and 1.6 for cash. I rocked that," he says.
I don't even
Is
know
this
what that is.
I don't
What
know
is
I
what
don't know
that?
what
that
it
is.
is either. Is this the same Pitbull that watches my channel? I wonder if it is. Does he look like he's really buff in his little thumbnail?
Let me look. Yes, he's showing the shoulder shot.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
I
that's
didn't
what
think
he
he was
said.
that old. Okay.
He goes, "Yep." He wrote, "Yep."
Yeah, well, if he's that much older, he's in way better shape than me, that's for sure. I gotta get some tips on maybe, like, help being healthy from him or something.
He said, "That's me." So there you go.
That's cool.
No, this is something that I think these arcade companies have given new life to retro. I mean, some of this other stuff, like I have like the Nintendo, the cheap Chinese knockoff thing. But it works. But that was kind of the start of it all. And then when I saw these cabinets, it was like, oh, So
Yeah, it's that little drug. They tantalize you with a little bit, and then your habit gets a little more expensive.
next thing you know, you're like he said, like Ralph said, you're gonna get killed by your wife because I keep saying I want to get rid of one of the couches, and she's like, no, the couch is not going down here. I'm like, it's down here. I could add another 6 or 7 cabinets over there if I got rid of that dang couch.
Is this like a basement studio?
Yeah, so right there you can kind of see that's some of mine. They go down that whole wall. And then I got the
Oh, wow.
consoles and stuff in the center. But if you look to the right there, you can kind of see. I'll see if I can move the camera here a little bit, and then you guys. There
Envious
you
of
go.
the
There's
space.
there's
A lot of
he's
space
sitting
there.
there. But I have a little basketball thing that's
Oh, I
right
see it.
behind
Yeah,
him.
yeah.
So some lady was selling that
Oh,
for
wow, there's a
like
lot down there.
Oh,
20.
that couch has got to go. That couch.
That's what
It
I
doesn't match.
Yeah.
said.
Get that couch out of
That's
there.
what I. There's 2 couches there. There's one right on the other side of the basketball. Daniel, go
Alright,
go
I
to
think
the
we
big
figured it out.
couch.
Beanbags. 2 beanbag
Yes.
chairs, scrap
There you go.
couch.
Yeah. So I could put like 6 cabinets along that back wall there where all those the 2 couches, the one couches. And then
Yeah.
like I said, it right now I have them, they're all going across. Well, right here's the Legends. I'll show you. The Legend is like right there next to the where the boom
Fun
mic.
track, yeah.
Yeah. He's right by my workstation there where I have the audio mixer and everything like that.
I love that, you have all lit marquees on them. That's good. My OCD would've been hard to, look at if they were an all lit, so I
Yeah,
appreciate.
I wasn't going to, but after I got Golden Tee and it had the lit marquee, I was like, yeah, I got to get it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. Oh, you go a lot further over.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
Okay. Yeah.
yeah. That's the whole wall. There's 3 cabinets there. It's the Turtles, Golden Tee, and Final Fight. But I've got cameras in the way, so I didn't want to. Because then I'm over here. If we turn this completely around, oops, let's go this way. And my son's
This is a
doing his
big
thing.
space.
It is a big
Wow.
space, and then I have a whole nother room for a music room that I have, um, but yeah. And then I just put like a bunch of people ask me all the time where I get those lights. I'm like Amazon. so
So cool.
but yeah, that's kind of my thing. But that's why I said I need to get back there. Glenn is what I was talking to you earlier. I don't know if you can kind of see it. Is where my whole Star Wars shelf is back there, and I've got up on the wall. I've got action figures that are still in the box.
Nice.
So I want to put a Star Wars cabinet back there, but the thing is I got to convince my wife.
We need a Vader movie. Come on, Disney. Vader
Yeah.
movie.
So
We'll pay for that.
oh, it's one of those things. But looks like we are going to get almost 2 hours out of this. We're on about an hour,
All right, so we
hour
did
and
it
35
twice.
minutes.
What are we gonna do?
I don't see the community complaining. They're just kind of like, hey, this is good. We like it. But anything else that we didn't cover yet, I think overall we got console kits. I think his was the last thing that we seen this week.
Right.
Anybody else got anything that they birthday scene. I'm trying to think. Anybody
Well,
in the chat room know?
Ralph, since you joined, how do you feel about the last firmware update on the
Oh yeah,
Legends?
there you go.
Yeah, no, it's good. One of the things that I was looking forward to is them fixing that one bug, that exit bug. So that
Oh,
was good.
awful.
And then, so the funny thing is about I've never been one that I'm not super particular about. Only certain games do I care necessarily about the aspect ratio, and it does not bother me that it's not 16:9 stretched. It actually would probably bother me more if it was automatically 16:9 stretched. So I didn't really view that as a thing I cared that much about, but I know a lot of people in the community, they don't care. They would rather have it take up the whole screen. So I get
Right.
that. So I think it's cool I just think it's cool that you have the option now, right? If I really care about original aspect ratio, then I can do that. And if I don't care, then I can stretch it. So that's such a weird religious thing, though. I mean, there are people that when I show like a Pandora's box or something, they will comment on my YouTube, it's stretched. And then they'll use something like I'm out or something, or hard pass, or something like that. I'm like, all right, well, if you don't like it stretched, you don't like it stretched. But that's a religious thing, in my opinion. Some people
It's
don't
it's
care.
it's video, guys, though, honestly, because I'll be honest, I probably couldn't play it like that because in the video world, it'd be like stretching this video, like stretch it, and
Yeah.
it's one of those things. It's you just can't do it. It's I don't know.
But it's
It's a
nice to have
tick.
like you said, it's just nice to have the option if you wanted it. It's better to
Yeah.
have it than not.
Oh, we're having
Yeah.
Thanksgiving here, and I'm gonna set it up, and I would make it full screen for the kids because they're not gonna care.
Yeah. They won't know or care.
No, they're
Yeah.
not gonna. And I would make it as big as possible for the kids. I mean, you know what I'm saying. So, but for me personally, I'd rather just have the side art. That's where the OCD. You didn't talk about lit marquees. That's where OCD kicks in with me. I couldn't wait till we had access to be able to do that. That drove me nuts having all that dead space on the side.
So I have one that was kind of interesting that maybe I feel like Glenn would be the closest to this one, but I actually didn't notice this. This was something that P-Dub said, and then I was like, I don't know if that's right. And then I looked into it and I was like, oh, it's partially right. So I didn't know that because, and this is what they said, but because of packaging requirements that Walmart had, that cabinet is 1 inch less deep than
Mm-hmm.
the Sam's Club one. It's not height, it's just the depth.
Right.
And I just wonder, like, what would it really have made that much of a difference? But I know Walmart's really particular about how much space anything takes up because to them
Yep.
they're not moving product and they can fit more stuff. And so I guess I get that, but I wasn't aware of that. And he brought that up. I was like, oh man, that's kind of interesting. So I don't know if you knew anything about that, Glenn, because I know you worked on like the early alpha stuff.
Yeah, it's they're just weird that way. They have just certain requirements and they don't budge on it. And that's just one of the weird things that they wanted. And
Yeah.
they had to meet that criteria.
How powerful of a company when can you make one version of your product that's an inch, less deep? I mean, that's kind of crazy.
It is. But like anything, Walmart is the Sears Roebuck of years ago. Back then, you wanted to get your product in Sears, and if you did, you knew your product was going to do well. And that's what Walmart is today. So if Walmart says, "Listen, it's nice. I want 3/4 of an inch off because blah blah blah," they have to do it, and
Yeah.
and they did.
How do you guys think, I mean, this is probably a good question for, I think, both of you guys, but I I was a little bit like, I got the chance to see the Legends Ultimate at E3, and it was kind of still in like, to me, more alpha, had some issues, but it was pretty cool. And I thought, wow, it's got a lot of potential. And then I don't know, then they got a little wishy-washy with data out to the public where I felt like it was confusing, and so people weren't sure what they were going to get, and everyone was all hung up on the cost per month. But I feel like at this point, because of all the effort they've put into it, there's so much interest. I just wonder, it's hard to tell sometimes how well it's doing because we're part of these communities where we see all these people posting pictures about buying them, and it seems like the hype is huge. But I just wonder from you guys' perspective, do you think it's doing fairly well? Because I came around. I really enjoy it. I've actually been playing it more than any other cabinet I have right now.
Yeah, they've really we talked about this a little bit before that, AtGames had a bit of a stigma associated with it. And I think with this product, they've really turned it around. I mean, the product, as you said yourself, it's enjoyable. You'll spend time on it. You want to engage it. All I could say is anyone if I've talked to, either in the community or out of it, who belong to like a Sam's Club the things are going off the shelves pretty quick. You know, people say that they're
Sure.
leaving stock. But then again, I think the Sam's Club where I went, there was 4, and when I took one, there 3 at that time. So I guess we'll really find out soon enough. I know that Arcade One Up and AtGames will never give official numbers. They just
Yeah.
won't. They'll just say we were selling them. So it's gonna be hard for us to really judge that. But I think the big telltale will be after the holidays, because that's when you'll see the forums and everything else start, getting hit big time at that point. I do think people will be overall pretty satisfied with either one that they purchase.
Yeah, I think so.
But they definitely will not be. The key point is because there's such a stigma sometimes at games. I don't think anyone will be disappointed with that unit from at games. I think they will be more than pleasantly surprised, like we all were.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat, Ralph. I've unless I have people over. Like last weekend, we had about 8 people over, and and I didn't have the Legends yet. That was probably the last time I really got hardcore on these arcades. We've all been over on the Legends, and that's partially due to, I guess, Steam. That's what I mentioned that earlier in the show. Just because like the new Killer Instinct and pinball. That's how I've been playing pinball, is with the Steam pinball on there, just kind of using Z and C. Um, but honestly, I still like these. We were talking about, I'd still buy more. It's just that I think that the Legends cabinet from in my area, people are looking for it, and I'm in Eastern Ohio, so there was 3 within a 350 to 500-mile radius, according to her thing at the Sam's Club when she looked it up. That's why I drove to Canton to get mine. That's about an hour from me.
Oh, wow.
So, but the AtGames stigmata, yeah, I kind of agree with Glenn. I think time's going to tell, and he's right. They're not going to tell us anything. But I think there's more believers than non-believers now, because when this thing
Yeah.
first came out, everybody's just like, stay away from it. It's AtGames. Don't buy it. Don't go near it. Don't touch it. And a lot of people have changed their mind on that.
Right, and honestly, they weren't wrong in saying that from past experience. I mean, I own all of their products pretty much, and for the price point, they were okay. But a lot of people expected more, especially when it came to the Sega part, the Sega Genesis emulation, Streets of Rage. We're all fans of that game. It was torture playing that game on their console. So a lot of the stuff was justified, but they took this very seriously. They did. They knew that if they're going to bring something out at this price point, it had to be good at a minimum, if not better. And it's absolutely good. And with the ability to upgrade that firmware, it's becoming better with each time.
And I do want to tell everybody, if you haven't done this, this is something I could show you guys. P-Dub put me wise to this earlier this week. But if you guys go over to Walmart right now, if you have a Legends cabinet online, you can buy just about every one of those blast dongles for about $5. So I get it; it's the
Oh,
original
wow.
Atari
Good deal.
one. But if you want them, I bought them
Yep,
just to play around with.
I love the Pong one with the wireless paddles. That thing's very, very good. I reviewed that one. I love it.
I like Pitfall. That was another good game. I bought that dongle. You can get all 4 for $20 because we already have the Pac-Man. But I mean, you could get that. But right now, like I said, they're all like $5 on Walmart.com if you want to head over there and get it. No affiliate link. Just go. I don't do that, but go
Right.
for $5. You can't beat it, right? I mean, even if you play it once or twice.
So guys, I gotta get going, but I wanted to, because Glenn brought it up. Glenn, did you ever get a chance, or either of you ever get a chance to play the 2018 version of the AtGames Sega Flashback?
Yes, I have
Yes,
it
I
over
played
there.
it.
I have it over
Yep.
there.
This one's actually good.
Yeah.
It is,
good
and
job on this one.
it's funny because Sega, kind of backed out at the end, and I think they did fine on their own. But again, it was just that stigma that they had from the previous ones that I think just soiled it. But that one is pretty good, absolutely, yes.
I think
You know what was interesting though? What I'm gonna be kind of interested to see is that there's several, I don't know, I think in the community there were certain people that just latched on to anything AtGames does is just bad, right? And there was some, like to Glenn's point, there was some truth to some things that just were not very good, especially Sega related. And then, but here's the thing, I think I don't know, with technology and everything, like I don't feel like it'd be fair to judge them based on everything in the past, especially if they're actually making progress. Like now I think it's
Right.
time to go, like they have my attention, they have all your guys' attention because they're making these improvements and they're listening to the community. So like right now, I feel like they're doing everything to say, hey, we're here, we're not going anywhere, and we did take this seriously. So I mean, if they keep continuing on this path, I really truly hope from a technology standpoint that people start recognizing them for that outside of our community, which I think they're starting to win over a lot of us, if not they already have. So
Right.
I'm I'm excited. I think they're doing really cool things. So
Ralph, before you go, not to cut off this conversation, but over on YouTube, in the chat room, Jeffrey Falk, I guess that's how you say his name. He says, "Hey guys, thank you for the review and the comments on the digital pinball machine. I am the director of it's chat room, ToyShock, and we are very excited about this product and its future. We'll reach out next week with more information." Oh, don't move the chat. Stop. But we took, sorry, people are commenting, but we took great care to make sure that the quality and the play value of this product meets consumer expectations. Sorry, just
That's
need
good.
to run out now, but we'll come back next week. And they saw it. So hopefully we get some more information on that as far as specs go with it, because again, we're just speculating at this point. So
was there a part at the end where he said, "You get a pinball, and you get a pinball, and
no,
you
he
get a
didn't say
pinball"?
that.
Oh, oh man. Oh,
Well,
you
yeah.
sure?
Well, you can go over and
Well,
see
I
the
would just
chat.
like to be able to talk to him and get some, get some information out of him. So, fantastic. He was listening again. That's the key we've been hitting lately, getting these companies to engage, and they are.
Well, let's do this. If you
Yeah.
guys don't mind, at least if he wants to go back and watch this, or if he's still sticking around, I don't care. I'm not one of those guys. Ralph, if you're okay with giving out your email address that you want, put it on the video so that way if they want to reach out, they can. So go ahead.
Oh, you want me to just say it out loud?
Yeah, that'll probably be all right, because then if he can watch
Okay,
it.
it's just retro. It's just retro Ralph 1980, and that's not the year I was born, by the way. Retro Ralph 1980 at gmail.com.
I just figured in case people, some people don't want to give out their email address, with that. Glenn, go ahead.
Well, mine is basically Glenn's Retro Show at gmail.com. Google owns us all. What are we going to do?
Yeah, yeah. Mine's forwarded through Gmail, so and you can reach out to me, steve@thetechbuzz.net. But it'd be great because then you guys could get some videos up. We can get some videos up with that information. I think that's only gonna better, and it's gonna help them sell their product, right? So if you kind of understand what you're getting into, because it's very vague. If you've been to the site, it's vague.
Yeah.
There's really nothing there.
Yeah. Those kids look happy though. They look like they're having a good time. So
I think I would be happy. I've been wanting one of these.
grandparents,
But Ralph,
grandparents,
to what you said before, they were happy. It was about 20 seconds worth. That clip was about 20 seconds. So, just
and then
saying.
and then if the video keeps playing, the grandparents push them out of the way, and they go, "You guys don't know anything about pinball."
That's how you play the game. You got to do it like this.
Damn it.
Oh my
Go
goodness.
play Fortnite.
Yeah. So, well, I know Ralph, you said you had to jump out. We're
Yeah,
gonna
I
probably
really gotta
close.
go now. Oh my gosh.
We're gonna
Thanks
close
for
up
joining,
shop, but go ahead and tell if everybody knows where they can find you. But my subscribers, my people, probably don't know. This might be the first time they've seen you. Go ahead and let them know where they can find you, and if they want to check out your videos.
Sure, yeah. So on YouTube, it's just YouTube/retro Ralph.
Oh, I
And
did get that right.
yeah, actually it's in there.
Yeah,
it's
I
there.
wasn't
It's
sure
there.
I wasn't sure if I got it right.
Sweet. Yeah, that's it. That's all you need to do, because you can go there and everything's right there. So, so thank you so much for having me, and I'm going to get very much in trouble if I don't leave right now. So I hate to go quickly,
Good
but
luck,
this
buddy.
was really fun. I'll have to do it again.
We'll have you
All
get
right,
on
guys.
again. We'll have you on again. Appreciate it.
Take
See
care.
ya.
Bye, Ralph.
Have a good one.
And then also we have Glenn. We'll let you kind of tell us where everybody can find you and get in touch with you.
I'm everywhere. My God. Well, if you want to see my YouTube videos, it's just youtube.com/Glenn's Retro Show, or you could put in a search of Glenn Platimento. That'll get you to my YouTube channel. But I'm on Facebook. I have a number of Facebook groups, the official Arcade 1-Up fan page. Also have the official AtGames fan page, the official New Wave Toys fan page, the official Super Impulse fan page, the basic fun, which
Dang,
is also
dude.
goes Bridge Direct. Yeah, I have a couple. And then, of course, I have Glenn's Retro Show Game Gurus. So I have just a couple. You'll see me out there a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, so make sure you guys go follow these guys. Like I said, these are some of the first few guys that I've stumbled upon when I started venturing down this road of getting into these arcades. And like I said earlier, that's how I found Glenn with his retro spinner. But P-Dub's Arcade, check him out. He's got some really cool videos as well. And Cool Toy, I asked him about joining us, Glenn, today, but he had a family get together, so he wasn't able to join us. But Doug, we're gonna have him on in the future and talk with him a little bit. All these guys are great guys, so you definitely want to subscribe to them on YouTube. You could find me thetechbuzz.net. I have links to everything on my website, thetechbuzz.net, but I'm pretty much the Tech Buzz everywhere. You can go to YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and give me a subscribe or a like if you care to. I'm not one of those guys that are gonna beat that. And I have to bring this up because look at the freeze frame of Ralph.
Oh, you say he didn't leave. I was like,
Oh,
my
he's
God,
there.
he's dead, man.
He's there. But this is a freeze frame of Ralph. So if anybody wants here, I'll even take off the logos. If anybody wants to get a nice freeze frame of Ralph and make like some kind of meme with it, that's your meme. So you could say, yes, I like cool toys, or whatever you want to do with Ralph, and then
Classic Kim's gonna kill me in 5 seconds.
classic. Yeah, there you go. The classic Kim's gonna kill me in 5 minutes. So I'll leave that up for you guys to grab it. He's gonna kill me for leaving that up there. But that's the way Ralph exited out. So we're gonna leave that at that. But guys, we really appreciate it. Maybe Friday of next week, Glenn. Do you think that's doable? Possibly.
I think we could do that, and maybe we'll get it down to an hour next time. Who knows?
We're gonna
maybe
try.
2, maybe 3. We don't know.
Try. PK is in the house. He said, "Great show." Well, we appreciate it. We were trying to get it to an hour, and then Ralph jumped in, and hey,
yeah,
I'm not gonna.
We'll blame Ralph.
It's content, so we'll put it out there. But we'll get this up on YouTube. I know Glenn's gonna put it up on his channel. I'll have it on my channel. More things to come as AtGames brings stuff out. Arcade 1-Up, this new pinball company. So there's gonna be some cool stuff coming on. So we really appreciate everybody.
And let's not forget. Also,
Yeah, go ahead.
real quick. Don't forget new stuff coming out also from New Wave Toys. They got Dragon's Lair. There's a Kickstarter. I think that's almost over with. If you want to grab a Dragon's Lair quarter scale, they're working on that right now, and also on Asteroids and a Missile Command. So there's a lot of companies still making great products for this holiday season.
Yeah, so we'll got to keep an eye on that, and hopefully, Glenn, if you have more information on that next week, anything else that comes down the line, we'll put it together. So, but guys, if you see something that you want Glenn and I to cover, send us an email. Hit Glenn up, hit me up on Facebook, friend me, whatever. Send it to Glenn. Just something that you want our opinion on, or if we get some of the other guys on, we'd really like to do that for you guys and kind of get that information out. But I had a lot of fun. I think this was a good time. I think my son had fun too. He did pretty good over there. He did a good job over there. He went upstairs to eat his dinner, so but he did good switching and doing his game. So appreciate everybody tuning in. We'll see you all next time right here as we do more of, I guess we'll call it retro gaming. Would that be probably fair right now?
Maybe we should have a contest at some point and think of a name, but for right now, we'll stick with that.
All right, retro gaming until somebody gives us something else. So, all right, guys, we'll see you later.